First of all, and can you tell me a little about ABC Home Healthcare?
ABC Home Healthcare is a nurse-owned, family-owned, private home care agency, and we provide services to the elderly, the seniors, the disabled, in all the communities from Boston all the way up to Gloucester, over to Merrimack Valley area, and all of the North Shore.
I got to tell you that one of the things I really love about ABC Home Healthcare and other organizations like yours is that they allow people to stay in their homes, to live their lives in their homes. And that's a big deal to most people, isn't it?
That certainly is. Most people are very familiar with their own homes, and the elderly especially, as we age in place, we don't want to move, we don't want to make changes, we don't want to be one of, somebody in a room with them. They really want their own private space, and they do so much better. I would want to stay at home, and I don't know anyone that would say, oh, I'd rather go to a facility, I'd rather do something different. Most people, whatever they call home, that's where they want to be.
You know, have worked a lot in the past with North Shore Elder Services, so I'm aware of all of their efforts and what they do to help people stay in their homes as well. And I find it, encouraging, I guess is the word to use, that the government seems to be getting this, don't they?
They certainly do. And North Shore Elder Services is one of the 27 elder service agencies across Massachusetts. They're an excellent agency also. And they do get money from the state and federal government. The state and federal government is finally getting it because, remember, at 65, people used to be old. They're not old anymore. We're living to be 95, 100. And so what's happening is people have run out of money. They can't afford to live 35 years on their retirement. So the state has gotten it. The federal government certainly has gotten it. And North Shore Elder Services and all of the ASAPs really do help seniors to stay at home.
And ASAP
is an elder service agency through the state of Massachusetts.
Right. And it's a win-win situation because what they're finding is it's less expensive, actually, to keep people at home, which is what people want to do, right?
Absolutely. If you're at home and you can't get your laundry done and you can't do food shopping, that's really important. So if I can't eat or I can't get clean clothes or I can't manage around the house, is it worth it to give somebody 5 hours a week, or is it worth it to put them in a nursing home? Which one is less costly?
Jeannette, can you explain?
No-brainer.
Yeah, it is a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. Can you explain the difference between assisted living and assistance at home?
Well, assisted living, it is where you live in a building and you have an apartment and you get a certain amount of service depending on what you pay for. And you do activities and you get 3 meals a day. What you do at home with assistance at home, with the 24-hour assistance at home, is you stay at home. You have one-on-one. So if you need to get up at night, there's somebody there. If you need to go out shopping, there's someone there. There's one person who knows how you like your coffee. They can make your meals when you feel like getting your meals. You don't have to get out at 7:30 because that's when you're assigned to a meal. You don't have to participate in activities. We even have assistance at home where people will stay in their own home in the winter, and then they'll travel to Florida and stay with them down there also. So people can, as I said, wherever home is, that's where we are.
What kind of services do you provide exactly?
We provide services from 1 hour to 24 hours. They can be either homemaking, companion, nursing, anything that a person needs. We do a lot of hospice, a lot of Alzheimer's, a lot of dementia clients. And it really helps, sometimes just helping the caregiver get a break. That's the most important. It really wears on the caregiver, the dementia and the Alzheimer's. They need to get out of the house. They need to do things. They need to have a life, and that's really what we spend a lot of times. 4 or 5 hours a day gives the caregiver a break. They don't end up sick, and that's really important that they maintain their health. So we do anything. 1 hour to 24, whatever.
Somebody if they want
play
to play
checkers,
cars,
play cards, whatever they want.
Yeah,
make a meal, make sure they take their medications. But we have a lot of skill level too. So even though they may be bed bound, that's why we do hospice patients. We have bed bound patients. We're able to do that. Our aides are certified home health aides, CNAs.
Right. I know you just touched on this just a moment ago, but you do work very closely with families. As you said, you give a caregiver a break, and that's part of what the service that you provide, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
We meet with their families, and we do no client of ABC has ever taken on, even a homemaker, case without seeing a nurse, because there are so many other issues. Even if someone just needs homemaking, you go in there and you find a multitude other things that we need to get fixed or try to get them into services somewhere else. There's so many community services people aren't aware of, and there's so many avenues of payment. So a lot of people think, I can't afford this, but we really give them those resources, where to get payment, where to get other services, hook them up with rides, hook them up with senior cares, all kinds of services we can get them, but they always meet with a nurse.
Well, that's a lot of people listening to this right now are thinking about that a lot. They're thinking about, where am I going to get the money for this? Can you give us some specific examples of where that money is?
There's certainly applying for Mass Health, but a lot of people, that's a 5-year look back. There's also the PACE program, which
5-year look back. I don't know what that means.
5-year look back. So you have to only have about $2,000 or $2,500 in the bank. It means you can only have so much money, and they look back 5 years. So you can't just say, okay, I'm going to hide all my money and give it to Uncle Charlie.
Yeah.
So now what you do
I wouldn't give my money to Uncle Charlie.
So then what you do is you have the PACE program, you have elder services, like I said, which is, North Shore Elder Services in this area. And then there's also if you were in the any type of a war or any type of Cold War, there's aid in attendance for those people. They don't have to have been active duty or shot up. There's also the veterans. There's also community health programs that you don't even have to have. They won't pay for it, but they'll provide services like Meals on Wheels. There's also rides. There's all kinds of, in Massachusetts, we're very lucky. There's a lot of state programs for the elderly and the disabled, but people aren't aware of it. And how do they pay for it? There's all kinds of ways. It just depends on talking to the families and figuring out with them what they might want to be interested in.
This is why you have to go to an organization like ABC Home Health Care, because you can sort all this out, and you have this on your fingertips, and you've dealt with all these organizations, right?
Absolutely. And the other reason is you don't want to be hiring privately somebody, if it's a family member, different, but somebody off the street, because we're making sure that the person knows what they're doing, that they're there, that the resources are there for them. We'll hook them up with other resources. We'll make sure that our aides or our workers have the skills to take care of your loved ones.
I was my mom's caregiver in the last couple of years of her life, and so I know, I have firsthand, it's a difficult job. You need help in this job. You need relief in this job. And it wasn't until, I tried to do this for about 6 months by myself, with my wife, of course, and it became obvious to me that I had to have somebody else to help me. Once that happened, I can't tell you how much easier it made my life and also the life of my mother's at the same time. You need this kind of help. You
do, because you want to be a son. You don't want to be the caregiver.
Yes.
And she wants you to be her son. She doesn't want to have to ask you to, help her out of bed, help her to the bathroom. Imagine that role reversal that it has the impact on the client, never mind the caregiver.
Right.
It really is very difficult. Very difficult.
Well, Jeannette, I want to thank you so much for coming on the program today. This is a very, very important issue, and you seem to have an awful lot of answers for it, and I'm so happy that you came on and touched on it, at least. If anybody wants to get a hold of ABC Home Health Care, how do they do so?
They just call 978-281-1001 or 781-245-1880, or they can even go on our webpage, abchhp.com, and they can ask for Jeannette.